God bless America. Hello, everybody. I am the Talk Radio Protege. This is the Protege program. Thank you so much for joining me on this fine day. I hope that you all are having a good week so far. And I don't know about you, I'm already looking forward to the weekend. This week feels like it's dragging on far too slowly, but I think it's about to pick up. There's a couple of news items today that I want to mention, but not get stuck on. First of all, the New York Attorney General has been accused of beating women. He's resigned. He's been caught up in the Me Too movement. I don't know if these are legitimate accusations or not. The guy has apologized and resigned, so there must be some truth to them. But this is a distraction. Do not get distracted by this Attorney General resigning. There's another news story that I want to mention. This is been late breaking in the day, and all I can say is it's about time. As you know, we talked recently, it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, about the Israelis revealing that Iran had a nuclear weapons program that they've been hiding from the international community, that nuclear weapons program not existing was part of the negotiations for the deal, the nuclear deal that was passed. I told you that I didn't think the nuclear deal was any deal at all. It was an action. The Obama administration wanted action on Iran. They didn't want a deal. They wanted a piece of paper. And what they got was a piece of paper. They paid the price in conceding everything that was on the table to Iran. Iran got everything that they wanted in that deal. There was no deal. It was action, is simply all that it was. And I don't want to get caught up on talking about that either. It's been a long time coming. It's been hashed and rehashed in many news places. A lot of people have been talking about this deal. I want to talk about something that's been ignored in the media. This happened on Saturday, and nobody has talked about it except for, again, one of the only places that I think can legitimately call itself the cutting edge of societal evolution, Rush Limbaugh. I didn't hear about this from Politico, Drudge Report, anywhere. Rush Limbaugh told me about this, and I've tracked down the Politico story from Saturday. Judge rejects Mueller's request for delay in Russian troll farm case. And I want to take one moment here to tell you that the media doesn't know what a troll is. And I can tell you what a troll is because I do online video games, computer games. Computer gaming is the number one place where the word troll is used. I think it's where the word troll comes from, in the sense that it should be being used, but is not being used by the mainstream media. When the mainstream media says somebody was a troll, what they mean is somebody was not who they pretended to be. And that's not what a troll is in terms of the general lexicon. When a normal person says that somebody was a troll, what they mean is somebody was doing something for the purpose of irritating or inflaming their target. Trolling means doing something to get on somebody's nerves. And a troll does not believe the things they are doing and saying. They're doing and saying things that they may not believe for the express purpose of irritating their target. So, in that sense, the Russian people that were attempting to influence the election, allegedly attempting to influence the election, were not trolls. Okay, they were, what's the word? Infiltrators is one word for it. They were disruptors is another word for it. In the sense that what they were doing was meant to be disruptive, they were trolls. But the way I just wanted to take that moment to say the way the media use trolls, they don't know what they're talking about. When the media says someone was a troll, it doesn't mean what most people think it means. Anyway, what this is really indicative of is that the Mueller team is trying to back out of this trial of Russian actors in the election on a technicality. Let's see. I've got it in my notes here, but I want to make sure that I show you where it says in the piece what my notes say. In a brief order Saturday evening, U.S. District Judge Dabney Frederick offered no explanation of her decision to deny a request prosecutors made Friday to put off the scheduled Wednesday arraignment for Concord Management. Now, Concord Management is being represented by a pair of Washington area lawyers. Last month, they surfaced in the case notifying the court that they represent Concord Management. Politico reported at the time that the move appeared to be a bid to force Mueller's team to turn over relevant evidence to the Russian firm and perhaps even debate prosecutors into an embarrassing dismissal in order to avoid disclosing sensitive information. Now, that's a little bit of a mouthful. That's some inside baseball. When the normal person, let's talk about this for a second. There was a big press conference to unveil the indictment of these Russian actors, 13 individuals and 3 companies. Concord Management being just one of them. The indictment an indictment to a normal person means that the prosecution has evidence that they believe they can get a conviction on, because state funds, the state usually being the prosecution, state funds are limited. And so the state doesn't pursue every single case that comes across their desk. They don't just indict willy-nilly. If you watch television shows that try and present a realistic picture of state prosecution powers, again, Blue Bloods is one of these shows that tries to accurately present what the state does when they go after criminals. The state is always talking about how they have limited funds. They can't indict everyone. They can't pursue every case. They need a conviction nearly guaranteed before they pursue a case. So the state doesn't indict unless they are very certain that they can convict. So when the special prosecutor says, we're indicting these Russians, that says to the average American, they think they've got the goods on these Russian individuals. Now, inside baseball, foreign actors rarely, if ever, appear in United States courts. It just doesn't happen. There's diplomatic immunity. There's non-extradite things. You know, the Russian government doesn't usually extradite their nationals to the U.S. for trial. Same story with China. Same story with a lot of U.S. rivals. They just don't extradite their nationals to our courts. So, inside baseball, the special counsel could have told the American people that they were indicting, knowing that they weren't going to get a trial, or at least thinking there was a 99% chance they weren't going to get a trial, so they didn't have to have convictable evidence. They could just indict and send the message that they think these people did it and that they can convict. And that looks bad on Donald Trump because of the narrative that Trump colluded with Russia. So, they indict these Russians. And now that the Russian team, the Concord Management, has sent forth these lawyers to represent them, demanding that they be able to see the quote-unquote evidence that the prosecution has. That's the legal procedure in the United States. Now, a brief aside. By Supreme Court precedent, foreign parties have all of the rights in court that citizens have. In my opinion, that's not constitutionally correct, but it is Supreme Court precedent. Even terrorists, foreign national terrorists, have the same rights in United States court that citizens have. Therefore, these Russian actors and organizations like Concord Management have the same rights to speedy trial, to face their accusers, have to know the accusation materials, and etc. They have those rights to those materials. So the prosecution, immediately upon hearing that the defense wants the materials that the prosecution has, they go dodgy, they go flaky, they get ready to punt on this indictment. They sought the prosecutors, prosecutors asked the judge to postpone the formal arraignment of Concord Management set for next week on the grounds that it's unclear whether Concord Management formally accepted the court summons related to the case. Now, time out. In fairness, the state's, or in this case, the special counsel's resources are theoretically limited. So, if the special counsel serves Concord Management with a court summons and Concord Management doesn't accept, maybe the special counsel says, okay, we're not going to prepare shareable documents because they haven't accepted. They're not coming to court. This is a foreign agent. We part halfway, don't expect them to come to court, so we're not going to prepare those documents. If I was willing to give the special counsel the benefit of the doubt that they have the information, it's just not ready, I would be willing to say maybe that's legitimate. But I don't think, and call me politically biased, maybe I am, I don't think the special counsel has the documentation, much less that it's ready to give to, much less that it will ever be ready to give to the defense. I think they wanted to put off the arraignment for the sake of manufacturing documents to give to the defense. And the judge, in disallowing this, clearly thinks you've had months to prepare these documents. You've had at least 1 month to get the documents ready for the lawyers that were going to be present for the defense. They should be ready. You should be ready to give over these documents. And maybe Rod Rule of Law Rosenstein should step in on the Russians' behalf to force the special counsel to give over these documents in time for the Wednesday arraignment. You know, it's just interesting to me. It's indicative to me that the special counsel has, again, another piece of the puzzle that says they have nothing. You know, it's been over a year. Let's see, November of 2016, the rumblings started. As early as December of 2016, people were being spied on and investigated. As early as summer of 2017, the special counsel was impaneled. So it's at least been 9 to 10 months. At the longest, it's been a year and a half. After all of this time, there is still no smoking gun on Trump, much less a smoking gun on his campaign. There is evidence that the Russians were doing things to try and throw off the election in general, not necessarily get Trump elected, but they've always been doing things to try and throw off the election, so that's not news. There's been all of these things that have come to light in the media about the the Clinton campaign, the DNC operations in regards to their working in proximity with Russian agents that has been ignored by the special counsel, by the FBI, by the DOJ. That's being invested by the legislature, but not by the DOJ. All of this time has gone by, and what indictments are there? There's indictments of foreign nationals that in any serious case would have never seen court. You know, Russian nationals are not going to go to the United States court if they know that they're guilty and they think they'll be convicted. There's no reason to do that because the Russian government is not going to extradite you. The special counsel knows that the Russian government is not going to extradite their nationals for trial. They're just not going to. It's not the policy of the Russian government to extradite their nationals to the United States for trial. So they indict willy-nilly in this case. There's been indictments of people in the Trump orbit, which, remember, I've told you, anybody that has contact with Trump. Rush Limbaugh is in the Trump orbit because he's had conversations with Trump. But Rush Limbaugh is not part of the Trump administration, was not part of the Trump campaign. But if Rush Limbaugh was indicted on charges of colluding with the Russians, I guarantee you the media would report that a member of the Trump campaign was indicted for working with the Russians. Anyway, members of the Trump orbit have been indicted on charges not related to the campaign. Not related to the campaign. Off the top of my head, I don't remember them all, but I do remember that the Paul Manafort indictment that not that we're reading out here, that we talked about last week, the Manafort indictment has to do with a 2005 violation that the DOJ knew about and didn't charge him on. That is the most serious indictment that has happened so far in the Russia investigation, and it's of a 2005 violation. Before Trump even thought about running for president, Paul Manafort has this violation on his record. And now we have the special counsel, I think, getting ready to drop the indictment of the Russians. They're trying to punt on the trial, trying to kick the can down the road. I think they're going to drop the indictment because if they move forward with this, you know they have no smoking gun to convict on the type of crime that they want to convict on. They want to convict the Russians on working directly with the Trump campaign, and they can't. So maybe they go to trial on this deal. I don't think that's likely. Again, the state has limited resources. Oh, in the heat of the moment, I forgot to even show you this word, pedophagy. I thought that was so funny that I wanted to look it up. The word pedophagy means, first of all, to bicker or quibble over trifles or unimportant matters. But in a somewhat ironic twist of fate, it also means to carry on a petty, shifty, or unethical law business. What have we been saying about the special counsel since it was impaneled? That it was beyond the bounds of the DOJ, of DOJ regulations. That the tactics they've been employing are shady, and, you know, they call the lead prosecutor in the Manafort case Mueller's attack dog. The people working the special counsel are known for going above and beyond, you might say, in their pursuit of convictions. And now, a lawyer for this Russian agency is using a word to say that the special counsel is being shady in their business practices. That's going to do it for this video. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I hope that you'll come back and join me next time. Until then, have a great night. Again, thank you for watching, and God bless.